Complainer. Liars complain and make negative comments more often. Even their facial expressions are more negative. They frown and sneer more frequently. The chin raise, where the chin and the lower lip are pushed upwards, is a specific negative facial expressions liars make. Nervous Nelly. Liars seem more nervous and tense. Specific signals were observed.
I need to figure out why you were there, why your mom came, kind of how everything...
She follows me. I used to take care of her.
You're not being honest about what happened. What happened to your mom? As a matter of fact, I'm pretty positive that I know that you're not being honest with me about what happened to your mom.
No.
Liars fidget with objects, with their bodies or faces, more than truth-tellers. Liars also blink more often, especially when lying about a moral violation. Also, look for a hard swallow. It signals nervousness. Duping Delight.
At night, when I close my eyes, I can see Christy reaching her hand out to me while I'm driving, and the blood just keep coming out of her mouth. And that, maybe it'll fade too with time, but I don't think so. That haunts me the most.
Duping Delight is any positive emotion that is experienced in anticipation of, during, or after a lie is told. Recent studies showed that normal people do not typically display duping delight, but dark triad personalities like narcissists, Machiavellianism, and psychopaths do. You might try letting the suspect think you believe their lies, then watching them for a smirk or signs of being proud of successfully lying. Timing problem. Liars make badly timed physical gestures. For example,
why did we have to meet those two people right there? Why did we have to meet them? I'm serious. Why did we have to meet them? Now I can't go home again.
Their physical gestures appear before their words, or the opposite, just like an untrained actor. Any false facial expressions they make will start abruptly, last longer than normal, and end abruptly. Who's responsible?
Okay, we met up with these guys. We snuck into the house. And I took the money, they shot somebody, and I left.
Liars will mention responsibility for behavior more often. This includes accepting responsibility, blaming others, offering excuses or justifications, or denying participation in the behavior. Eye contact. Neither increased nor decreased eye contact were found to be signs of lying, except if the lie is about violating moral standards. In that case, the liar would look away or avert their gaze more often and look down. These signs come from the liar feeling shame. Pupil dilation. The pupil, or that black circle in the middle of the eyes, gets bigger when someone is lying. It is important to observe this in context and with other lying signals, because pupils can dilate for other reasons, like fear, anger, excitement, or sexual arousal. Nonsense. Liars will have less logically structured stories, particularly if they do not have time to plan the lie. Even if they remain logical, they often give responses that are less plausible and realistic. The normal. Observe and note what is normal for the person you suspect of lying. Notice how fast they talk, the pitch of their voice, their normal level of anxiety, their posture, and how expressive they are. Are they more emotional or logical? What is normal for a given person is called their baseline, and most signs of lying presented here are used by comparing to the specific baseline of the person you're observing. Good liars. People who believe that they're good liars tend to lie more often.
Oh, I might be a good liar, but I ain't stole nobody's damn credit card.
Doesn't match. When someone is lying, their modes of communication will not match. For example, their words will not match their facial expressions. Their gestures will not match their words.
Yes, I do.
Their voice tone will not match what they're saying, like saying a statement but with the tone of a question. In the following interrogation, notice the raised voice tone at the end of each statement, making it sound like a question.
How did it make you feel when you heard about her being killed?
Shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Non-believing. Extremely sad.
Defensive. A liar will be defensive in general, while someone telling the truth will be offensive if accused. More specifically, researchers found that liars will press their lips together and direct their body and head away from you when they lie. Buy time. When a liar did not have time to prepare for the lie or was surprised by one of your questions, they would attempt to buy time to think by using phrases like, "That's a good question," or "Can you repeat the question?" Or they simply repeat your question back to you.
The Tea Party guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know about him?
What do I know about him? He's not here in fuck.
Do you know anything about that?
Do I know anything about that?
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Won't admit.
I don't know what happened. I had good weather, unlimited visibility. After that, it just all went fuzzy.
You blacked out?
No, ma'am, I was fully conscious, but I got disoriented, lost track of time. Next thing I knew, the aircraft was pointed at the ground.
Liars do not admit to lack of memory or use words that show uncertainty, so they avoid using words like maybe or possibly. They also avoid using phrases like "I think," "I don't remember clearly," or "I can't remember all the details." Expressiveness. Liars are less expressive. For example, they would not prolong words for emphasis. If you ask them, "Did you cheat on the test?" they would say, "No," instead of "No." Also, their facial expressions are less intense and they make fewer hand movements when they talk. Lying face. False emotions will produce a less symmetric facial expression compared to facial expressions coming from true emotions. A false facial expression may also show one emotion around the mouth and nose and a different emotion around the eyes. Typically, the true emotion is found around the eyes. However, note that the person could actually be feeling conflicting emotions. Paul Ekman found that there are 7 universal facial expressions across cultures, while Dr. Alan Cowen found 16. I will share these in another video. For now, look for fear on the face of a person who would suffer serious bad consequences if they're caught lying. And look for sadness if the liar is likely to feel guilty, like if they're lying to someone who trusts them, or lying about violating their moral standards. Immediate correction. Liars will not make corrections to what they said without being prompted. They would not say something like, "I had coffee with a friend this morning. No, sorry, that was yesterday morning." Response latency. Response latency is the time between the end of your question and the beginning of their answer.
We got the call around 3 a.m.
Researchers found that a person that had a chance to prepare for telling a lie will respond to your questions more quickly than someone telling the truth, so they have a lower response latency. However, an unprepared liar will take longer to respond than someone telling the truth, so beware if they start responding more quickly or more slowly than normal. That pitch. A liar will speak at a higher pitch compared to their usual voice. This was validated by measuring pitch using various instruments, as well as by direct human observation. Details. Liars will give less details in general, and even less relevant details compared to truth tellers. Details like descriptions of people, places, actions, objects, events, and the timing of events are reduced when someone is lying.
Because the devil's always in the details.
Not my pronouns. 2 people are being accused of stealing company money. The first one says, "Never, didn't do that. It was your wife. You should stop making accusations like that." The second one says, "No, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Stop accusing me like this." The liar uses more second and third person pronouns like you, your, they, them, theirs, or they omit the pronouns altogether. Truthful statements include more first person pronouns. I, me, my, we, us, our. Liars also use distancing demonstrative reference like that instead of this and there instead of here. Less talk. The liar will spend less time talking in proportion to the total length of the interaction. Additionally, the longer time you spend interacting with the liar, the shorter their responses will become.
I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
MLU. MLU, or mean length of utterance in simple terms, is the average number of words used in a person's sentences. When people feel anxious or are telling a lie, they tend to speak in sentences that are either shorter or longer than their MLU. Derail. A liar will try to spend more time talking about something not directly related to the event that they are lying about. This is called narrative balance. They will also attempt to change the topic of discussion away from the lie. Talk speed. When the lie is about violating moral standards, or when the liar feels fear of being caught, they talk more quickly compared to their baseline. However, liars who have to come up with their lie on the spot tend to talk more slowly. Cooperative. A liar will be less cooperative and helpful. Try asking them to hand you something or to repeat something they said because you missed it, and then watch if they show signs of getting annoyed or frustrated. Bundles and chances. To use these signs effectively, remember these 3 things. Establish a baseline, then look for deviations from that baseline. Never rely on just 1 or 2 signs. Many signs of lying are needed to make a reasonable assessment. No matter how many signs you observe, it only means that there's a higher chance that the person is lying. It is impossible to be 100% sure without hard evidence, so be cautious with your conclusions. If you know other signs of lying, share them in the comments, but first, subscribe.